Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Kaan, also known as Jedi Jester. I'm a top 100 Elite 1 player. I've been coaching for B-Part Gaming for over a year now. I'm a streamer myself. And finally, I'm super excited to announce myself as one of the new content creators on our YouTube channel, The Guide. So today's video is going to be another FIFA 21 tutorial video, which is going to cover the most common critical defensive mistakes that could be punished, how to fix those, and how to apply those fixes into your gameplay. Since defending in FIFA 21 is a lot harder, we'd like to give you 5 general tips on how to defend so you can concede less goals. Before we get started, I just want to remind you that we just launched our brand new project, The Guide Plus. In The Guide Plus, we provide additional content with 4 posts each week. This content includes very specific and advanced gameplay tips, but also fresh Ultimate Team related content such as player and squad reviews, as our ultimate goal is to make you a better player and let you have the best FIFA experience overall. You can already get an idea about the Guide Plus, as we have published some free content for you to let you know what is waiting for you inside. Just click the link in the video description to get more information and also get to the free posts that you can enjoy. For starters, there are some major changes in defense in FIFA 21 compared to FIFA 20. The most important one is that you have to defend more manually in this new game. But what does manual actually mean? In FIFA 20, players were able to get the ball without actively tackling while holding only the L2, LT button, which is the jockey button. Getting close while jockeying was enough to get the ball from the attacker without using any further mechanics. However, this has changed in FIFA 21. Now you have to use your tackle button actively in order to get the ball from your opponent, since jockeying is less effective. You can still use your jockey button to maintain a strong defensive stance against the opposition's attackers, but that won't steal the ball automatically for you. You'll need to actively press the tackling button to get the ball, stop the attack, and start of your own. One other thing that changed is that the AI players, which are basically controlled by the computer, are less effective on covering opponents. Most of the time while not selected, you'll see your AI controlled players only watching the opponent's players without anticipating by themselves. So, you need to select the defender close to your opponent by yourself in order to defend. Right after you select the right player to defend with, you'll need to move them into the right positions, which will bring us to the next topic, defender positioning. Positioning is one of the most important aspects while defending. You need to know exactly where to put your defenders in certain situations. This position could be a scenario where your opponent tries to get in behind the defense with a through ball from his back to winger, or he tries to break your defense with continuous passing. In each of those scenarios, you have to keep your defensive line in a good structure. Moving only a single defensive player out of his position could be extremely dangerous. Every time you force your defender to leave his position in order to put pressure on your opposition, you'll leave a gap behind you. Because of the increased effectiveness of pace and dribbling of the attackers, those gaps could be easily filled with opponent's attackers in front of the goal and will most likely get punished. So we could definitely say that staying safe is a lot more important than putting pressure on the ball, since that will be a more advanced and risky technique. You can actually put pressure on the ball, but that's the second thing to do. Once you secure the potential passing or running lane, you can switch back to the other defender and come forward to apply pressure. But applying pressure doesn't mean you have to go all in. Once you get close enough, let's say 1 meter away from the attacker, you have to be able to stop your own player, since you're not allowed to run too much or leave your original position. You can either let go of your sprint button or change the direction of your left stick, which is the case here, so that if you fail to tackle, you can immediately run back and fill the gap you've created by yourself. One other thing to point out is that you will need to cover the running lanes all of the time, especially towards the goal line. Back in FIFA 20, players used to cover more of the inside of the pitch through the middle more than the outside towards the wings, but that seems to be in need of a change. With the enhanced pace and dribbling in FIFA 21, attackers can push the ball forward, especially through the wings. You should always have the idea of moving your defenders towards the back instead of standing still or trying to cover more of the inside, which will help you cover running lanes a lot. But while doing that, make sure you don't run too much and stay close enough to the attacker. If you run too much, that would give him the other option to use, which is the space in front of him created by your defender's excessive run. Like in everything, there is balance, and you have to find the perfect balance in those kinds of situations. To be able to always keep a good structure in your defensive line, learning and mastering the player switching is super important. The default L1 LB button doesn't get the job done all the time, since that button will switch to a second player which is prioritized by the computer. If you want to switch to the exact player you want, you have to use right analog switching. I strongly recommend you to check out our dedicated video about the complete player switching, which will also appear in the info box, as this is one of the must-do mechanics in your defense. The old tactic of chasing with push and pull, in which you consistently press your tackle button while chasing in order to put your body in front of the opponent's attacker, is not as effective as before. This is also related to pace being too strong. Once the attacker puts his body in front of the defender, there is almost no chance that you will chase and get the ball from the behind. So instead of going directly for the attacker, you need to cut the run by going directly to the back to get a better angle. Once the attacker positions himself between the goal and the selected defender, you can't catch him, so you need to switch to another defender who has a better opportunity to defend as soon as possible. In this very position, I make the mistake of bringing my defender forward and the attacker gets through. Instead of switching back to my center back, who is in a better position to cut the run from the side or diagonally, I choose to chase the attacker from the back with the original defender, which ends up with me conceding the goal. Learning from the mistake, I switch immediately to a better positioned defender once I realize I can't catch the attacker with push and pull from the back. We pointed out at the beginning that with active defending, you need to be doing better manual tackling to be successful in defense. Remind yourself there are some factors for a higher chance of a successful tackle. First, you need to watch out that you're in a fair distance to tackle. Tackling while too far away won't do any good to you. Instead, it gives your opponent more space. The optimal distance to a successful tackle is more likely around a radius of 1 meter. But the distance doesn't mean anything unless the ball lays in open for you to reach. If the attacker is shielding the ball, you can't dive into a tackle, as this will most likely end up with the attacker avoiding the tackle or a foul. Wait for your opponent to change the direction of the ball. You should only try to tackle once the angle appears. Timing of the tackle related to the ball contacts is also an important aspect. Tackle when the player moved the ball forward or finish a skill move. If you do the opposite and try to tackle with him controlling the ball perfectly without pushing it, you make your move towards him and he can actually get off with a skill move or a dribble. Wait for the opponent to push the ball or to finish his skill move, try to predict where the dribble skill move will end and tackle into that direction. Do not tackle too much or too early. Once you miss your tackle, your player will go into an animation and he will get unbalanced. This animation delays the player's further movement, his speed, and the next attempt to tackle. There will be basically a slight cooldown between two tackles, so it's crucial not to tackle too much or too early. Last but not least, you'll have to analyze every single opponent by yourself. Everyone has a different style of play, which they probably show in the first couple minutes of the game. You can start off the game without taking any risks by paying attention to the points we mentioned earlier in the video, and right after you see your opponent's style, you can adapt to it and predict his moves beforehand. This is also a risk and should only be done once you get the basic understanding of defending in FIFA. Over-anticipation and over-commitment are dangerous things. If you anticipate too much and take every defensive move for granted, your opponent could use the element of surprise by doing something he hasn't done in that particular game and get himself in an advantage position against you. As an example, my opponent scored 2 goals at the start of the game by accelerating with a skill move towards the goal. After conceding twice, I adapted to his game style and successfully defended him over the course of the game. But eventually, he caught me off guard by dribbling the ball more to the outside and passing the ball in, which he hadn't done in the game so far. So that's it for today's tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did, and hopefully you'll get the benefit out of this tutorial and start conceding less goals. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like and make sure to subscribe to our channel for the upcoming FIFA 21 tutorials. I'll see you on one of the next videos. Take care. Peace.